Hey, family, welcome to Put Your Do Self Reaction. Simply translate to, you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. With that being said, we got another one here for you today. Wow, got one, man. This one here crazy. Love don't love nobody. You see what I'm talking about? Let's go for this journey.
Drunk Night Remix.
Don't you
Drink the
like
brown?
when I drink the brown? Drink it up, then I tear you down.
He hate me.
Breaking news as we come on the air tonight. A woman is dead, a man in custody after a shooting in Sandusky.
It happened just after 5:30 at a home in the 700 block of Sycamore Street. Now, police tell us when officers went into the home, they found Jerry Watkins armed with a knife. Watkins then barricaded himself on the second floor. Officers then found a woman who had been shot multiple times. She was taken to the hospital, but she did not survive.
You murdered this man.
Yes,
You tortured him.
of course. I took him to my house, walked him down the street. I don't know why the media acts like the motherfucker couldn't walk. He walked very well. Walked him upstairs, kicked his ass, and killed him.
All right, so let me tell you what we just watched. This woman you are watching, this one doing the skit about murdering her man, her name was Rolanda Watkins, and everybody online called her Snookie. She was one of those people that the moment she opened her mouth, you were entertained, and it didn't matter what the topic was. Wigs, babies, whatever she touched, she made funny, and she had that gift. And this man right there, this one who said,
"Y'all ever look at y'all significant other? Like, dang. I left all my hoes for this."
Is you for real?
That's Jerry Watkins III, her husband, the man she wished a happy anniversary publicly every single year. Now, here's what I need you to sit with before we go any further. When that clip played, I left all my hoes for this, everybody laughed, including Rolanda. It was framed as a joke, and it landed as a joke, and everyone following their content at the time probably watched, laughed, and kept scrolling. But the truth is, every joke has a little truth behind it. And now, going back through some of their videos, knowing how this story ends, nothing sounded like a joke to me anymore. I've covered a lot of cases on this channel, and one thing I keep learning is that the most dangerous people are not always the ones who are obvious about it. A lot of times, they show you exactly who they are, wrap it in a laugh track, and then make you feel crazy for taking them seriously.
You were a hoe.
Back in the days.
How long haven't you been a hoe for?
For a little minute. For a little minute.
How?
Rolanda Perry Watkins was 32 years old, a mother of 6 daughters, a growing content creator, a Maven Hair ambassador, a comedian, and a wife. And on February 4th, 2026, inside the home she shared with her husband and children on Sycamore Street in Sandusky, Ohio, she was shot 3 times by the man standing right next to her in every single one of those videos. Their 5th wedding anniversary was the next day, February 5th. Her birthday was the day after that, February 6th. She never made it to either one. And the question I cannot shake is that at what point does social media jokes stop being funny and start being warning signs? And why does it always take a tragedy for us to go back and finally see what was right there the whole time?
Bitch, shoot him. Get a knife. Slice him.
Let me tell you who this woman was before any of this. Rolanda Perry Watkins grew up to be the kind of person people remember. Not in a quiet way, not in a she was sweet way, but in a loud, bright, make you spit your drink way. She was funny, and I don't mean funny like she told decent jokes. I mean funny like she had a whole perspective on life that made everything she touched feel alive. And she could be in the middle of a regular Tuesday doing absolutely nothing and find something in it that would have you calling your friend just to send them the clip. She went by Snookie online, and that name fit her perfectly. Bold, unfiltered, warm, and absolutely unbothered by what anybody thought.
Name one thing that you don't do that a lot of other people do.
Give a fuck. Like, where are y'all getting all these fucks from? I have Zero. Y'all got too many.
She posted across Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat, and between the brand deals and the punchlines, she showed her real motivation every single time. Six little girls, 6 daughters filling that house with noise and life, and Rolanda made sure their hair was done, they were fed, and they were loved. No matter what was happening around her, that part never slipped. Professionally, she had signed on as an ambassador for Maven Hair, the ready-to-wear wig company built for women who don't have time to be bleaching knots at midnight. And Rolanda, who called herself the home hustle hair boss, didn't just promote their products, she sold them. She had toothbrush partnerships, hair dye promotions, margarita mix deals, and if it had a link in bio, she could move it.
Go ahead and hit that link in my bio. Thank me later.
Multiple hustles running simultaneously, managed from her living room, in between cooking, doing hair, and raising 6 kids. Snookie was funny, versatile, and determined to build something bigger than her circumstances allowed for.
I've been feeling kind of down today, so I'm just gonna go to the gas station, let the crackheads tell me I look like Beyonce. You may not see it, but them motherfuckers see it, especially for $2.
Her sister Anita Perry described her simply.
To know my sister was to love my sister. My sister, like, she was amazing. Her mother skills, like, top of the charts. Like, everything that she did was for her kids.
Because even as the platform grew and the brand deals came in, those 6 daughters were always the center of everything. The reason she got up, and the reason she kept going, and the reason she showed up to that ring light every single day, even when she probably didn't feel like it.
No, pink is wrong, blue is wrong, all of them is wrong. It's all right.
Let me do it again.
No, next. It's all right, Booker. Whoa. You get another try.
Rolanda and Jerry Watkins III had been together for 6 years and married for 3 when all of this happened. They built a whole life, a home on Sycamore Street, 6 daughters between them, and a social media presence that, from the outside, looked like something people genuinely aspired to. On Facebook, he went by J Smooth, and in the early content, they actually looked like they had it figured out. They shared music, pulled pranks, made jokes, and posted each other. And the kind of couple content they put out made people in the comments say relationship goals and actually mean it. They were playful, they were present, and at least on
Man, you see how looks can be deceiving. For real, for real. This couple looks so happy, man. They look like, if you don't know no better, just lovers of bliss. Something you wish to be. Something that you admire. Love it. Black love on top. Underneath, the jokes and the cracks. Wow. Let's keep going so you can see the rest.
camera, they looked solid.
My wife thought it was a personal video.
Whatever you're doing, bitch, just bend over and start backing it up.
On February 5th, 2024, their anniversary, Rolanda posted on Facebook, 6 years together, 3 years of marriage. Happy anniversary, J Smooth. That's a woman who, at that point, still believed in what she was celebrating. And Jerry, the year before, on her birthday, February 6th, 2025, had posted, I want to say happy born day to my beautiful wife, Rolanda Watkins / Snookie Perry. It's me and you forever. I love you to the moon and back. Today is your day. Let's go and enjoy this day. It's me and you forever. Hold on to that line because we're coming back to it. For a while, Rolanda and Jerry showed their audience a marriage that worked. But if you went back through those videos closely enough, the cracks were showing up in ways people either didn't notice or chose to read as entertainment. The first sign was subtraction. Jerry started disappearing from the videos. Not all at once, but gradually. First, fewer appearances, then almost none. And if you've watched enough content couples on social media, you already know what it means when one person starts fading out of the frame. Something is happening off camera, and the camera is no longer welcome in that part of the story. Then, the content itself started shifting. Rolanda's skits started carrying a recurring theme: infidelity, suspicion, side chicks, loyalty, over and over, wrapped in that signature Snookie humor that made it feel like pure entertainment rather than anything personal.
Woke up this morning, I didn't give a fuck. Took the first sip of my coffee, and I knew I still didn't give a fuck. It's a beautiful morning, and guess what? I don't give a fuck.
And she gave no fucks. Not even one. And she lived happily ever after. The end.
Now, I want to go straight to the moment in her content that stopped me completely, because this one was not a skit, and it was not a wig review. It was a spoken word piece she posted, and I want you to hear the whole thing, because I think it's the most honest Rolanda ever was publicly about what she was carrying.
I stopped. I stopped asking for people to understand me, because no matter how much I explain who I am, my mouth go dry as the sand be. I stopped giving my all because all I have is me, the person that no one understands. How can I give you all of me if you don't even understand me? So you think giving you all of me is sexually, but I'm talking mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Can you handle the broken me? The way my heart is shattered, I don't think it can be put back together. So can you try your best to put me back together? Deal with the cuts of trying to figure out what piece go where. Or will you leave me broken because one cut was way too deep, or you felt like it was way too many broken pieces to put me back together to make me yours to keep? So you tell me. I stopped. I stopped being a friend who always was there. No matter how hard I go, these bitches still don't care. Being a friend is more than matching outfits. It's loyalty, building trust, understanding the same love I got for my blood I have for you is a must. But there we go with understanding again. How can I be a friend of someone who don't understand me? So I stopped. And once I realized, once you stop, a lot of things that people consider down, they stop coming around. So I consider being lonely instead of being found. Because once I stopped dealing with people who don't understand me, I started talking to God. Because who else can know the real me and understand me, walk beside me, and put me back together without giving up? And to let me see that I am enough. See, when I stopped, God started. And he's still not done.
She posted that publicly. People watched it, sent her love in the comments, and kept scrolling because she was Snookie and she was always saying something powerful. And the audience read it as content. But that was not content. That was a woman describing in detail what it feels like to be emotionally abandoned by the people closest to you while still having to show up for everyone around you. And the part that stays with me, she ended it with hope.
See, when I stopped, God started. And he's still not done.
She still had faith, and she still believed something better was on the other side of all that pain. She deserved for somebody to see that. She really did.
I'ma go buy me a gun, and I'ma come back here and set this motherfucker off.
Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions. Okay, now I want to take you to the other side of this house. Because while Rolanda was out here building her brand, raising her daughters, and quietly falling apart, Jerry Watkins III had his own timeline unraveling, and he documented it publicly on Facebook for months. Going through these posts in order is the part of this story I cannot get out of my head, because when you read them as a sequence, the picture they paint of what was building inside that man is right there. Let me take you through them. Back in September 2025, 5 months before the murder, Jerry posted, "Cutting off family isn't disrespect. Sometimes it's survival." You could read that as anything, and people scroll past posts like that every day. Then, late November 2025. November 23rd, he made 2 posts on the same day, and the combination is what gets me. First, life just not the same no more. Same day, hours later. I just want my family to know I love y'all. That combination tells you something significant was already happening inside him. Then, the very next day, November 24th, hurt me with the truth, but never comfort me with a lie. Then, December 19th, and this is the day I keep coming back to, because he posted 3 things, and each one is more revealing than the last. The first, a Sagittarius zodiac post he identified with enough to share. Not gonna lie, this year dragged my mental health through the mud in ways I wasn't ready for. It felt like every time I caught my breath, life threw something else at me. I had days where I was strong and days where I was barely holding on. But I'm still here, bruised a little, tired a lot, but still fighting. This year tested me harder than anything, but it also showed me I'm tougher than I thought. Same day, second post. Overthinking is the biggest cause of unhappiness. You notice every shift in someone's tone. You replay messages in your head. You can't stop thinking. Third post, same day. A meme about wanting a healthy, long-lasting relationship, shared like a man watching that possibility disappear in real time. Then, December 20th, and this is the most ironic thing I have read in this entire case. For a relationship to work in real life, you have to understand that you and your partner are 2 different people with different pasts, trying to create one future together. You won't always see things the same way, and that's actually 100% okay. What truthfully matters is how you respond. Talk without turning every disagreement into an argument. Listen to each other even when it's hard, and move forward without keeping score. You can't build something real if everything or disagreement pushes you apart. It takes maturity to grow together while keeping your emotions in check. He wrote that. January 5th, new year, and he posts, "Sometimes you gotta blame yourself for what you go through, because you knew better." And then, January 7th, shout out to the men who haven't felt okay lately, but you still get up every day and refuse to quit. Stay strong, brothers.
My doctor said I should keep an eye on my blood pressure.
This man was clearly not okay. He was publicly and repeatedly signaling that he was struggling, and people saw it and maybe even liked it, and nobody connected any of it to anything dangerous. Because why would they? People post things like that all the time, and most of the time, they're just posts. And then, January 28th, 7 days before February 4th. I'm not a perfect man. I mess up. I fall short. But I'm still showing up, still fighting, still giving everything I've got. 7 days later, he picked up a 9mm semi-automatic pistol and he fired it 3 times into the body of his wife while their children were inside that house. I keep coming back to these posts because they matter, not to excuse what he did because there is no excuse, but because they show us something we need to talk about more when we cover these cases. The warning signs are not always visible only on the victim's side of the story. Sometimes the most critical signals are coming from the perpetrator, posted publicly, and nobody is reading them as danger until it's already too late. All right, let me tell you what happened, because this is where everything comes apart. February 4th started like any other day at 700 Sycamore Street. Normal morning, kids in the house, and nothing in that morning suggested that by 5:40 in the evening, Sandusky police would be responding to a shooting at this address. At some point that afternoon, Rolanda and Jerry got into an argument, and this detail matters. Family members were in the house. There were people present who heard that argument escalating, and who probably thought it would blow over the way arguments do, because most of the time they do. This one didn't. At 5:40 p.m., a call came through to Sandusky police. Shots fired, 700 block of Sycamore Street. Jerry Watkins III had taken a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, and in the middle of that argument, with family in the house and his children somewhere in that building, he made a decision. And he didn't fire once in a moment of panic, and he didn't stop after one shot. He shot Rolanda 3 times. After he shot her, instead of calling for help, Jerry went upstairs. He barricaded himself on the 2nd floor, picked up a knife, and stood up there, knowing exactly what he had just done, knowing Rolanda was downstairs, knowing his children were in that house, and he was focused entirely on himself. When officers arrived, they found Rolanda with multiple gunshot wounds, and first responders, including the fire department, got to her and administered first aid right there on scene. She was still alive, and they rushed her to a local hospital, and she fought. She was alive long enough to be transported, and alive enough that in those first moments, there was still a window. She didn't make it through that window. While the first responders worked on Rolanda downstairs and officers managed the scene, upstairs, Jerry had turned that knife on himself. Self-inflicted wounds to his neck, his arms, and his chest. He had enough awareness to know what he had done was catastrophic, and enough presence of mind to arm himself with a different weapon and move upstairs, and enough clarity to barricade himself in a room. And then he cut himself with a knife, not with the gun he had just shot Rolanda with, 3 times. Honestly, I don't know what he thought cutting himself with a knife would do for him, but if he really wanted to hurt himself, he would have used the gun. A man with enough control to choose which weapon to use on himself and where to place those injuries did not shoot his wife 3 times by accident. After a standoff, officers from the special response team took Jerry into custody, and both he and Rolanda went to the hospital that evening, and only one of them came out alive. Evidence recovered at the scene: a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, 4 shell casings, and a knife, and a house full of children who had just watched their world collapse in the space of one argument. Now, I need you to understand something about how Rolanda's family found out, because this is the detail that stays with me more than almost anything else in this entire story. The call that told the family what had happened, the call that sent Rolanda's sister Perry racing toward Sandusky, did not come from a neighbor, and it did not come from a police officer. It came from one of Rolanda's daughters. A child picked up that phone and made that call. That little girl found a way to reach her aunt and deliver the news. I don't have words for what that must have taken from that child, and I don't have words for what Perry felt when she heard her niece's voice on the other end of that line.
On February 4th, Perry received a call from her niece that her sister had just been shot inside of their home. By the time she made it to Sandusky, Rolanda was pronounced dead.
By the time Perry got there, she was already gone. Perry described the days after like someone still trying to find solid ground.
I'm still in disbelief, I'm shocked. Like, I really don't know how I'm feeling. I'm just one day at a time.
One day at a time. That's all she had. And on top of her own grief, her own sister, her baby sister, Perry now had 6 little girls who needed someone to hold them together. And she made that decision without hesitation.
I got her. You know what I'm saying? I got them babies. Like, I feel like I owe that to my sister. You feel me? And I'm going to make sure those babies is raised the way she was raised.
She took all 6 in, because that's what Rolanda would have done for her, and she knew it without having to think about it. The community responded the way communities do when something this devastating happens. People donated, people showed up, and the family held a balloon release in Rolanda's honor. And the turnout was a testament to how many people she had touched, even through a screen. Perry has spoken publicly about wanting answers. She had talked to both Rolanda and Jerry separately before any of this happened. She knew things weren't perfect, and she knew there were marital problems, but she never, not for 1 second, believed it would arrive here.
I ain't never think that he would do that to my sister. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, I have talked to him, I have talked to her, you feel me? Like, that, I ain't never, ever, like, nah, not that.
And the question she keeps sitting with, the one she wants to one day look him in the face and ask.
I want to know why. You feel me? Like, how could you?
There is no version of events and no level of marital dysfunction and no amount of jealousy or paranoia or pain that ends with a gun being the answer. There is no argument worth that. He could have walked out the door, and he could have gotten in his car and driven, and he could have called someone. He could have done anything other than what he did, but he chose the gun. And Rolanda, who had her birthday 2 days away and an anniversary the very next morning, paid for that choice with her life. Jerry Watkins III was charged with 1 count of murder, held without bond at Erie County Jail, and additional charges were pending grand jury review. He is facing the full weight of a decision made in a matter of seconds. A decision that destroyed his daughter's childhood, his wife's future, his family, and whatever was left of himself. Here's what sits with me most when I go back through all of this now, and I've been through it more than once. The jokes were not just jokes, and the skits were not just skits, and that spoken word piece was not content. And those Facebook posts from Jerry, those were not quotes someone shares because they sound relatable on a Tuesday afternoon. They were a map, and nobody knew to read them as one until it was February 5th, and she wasn't there. She was 35 days into the year she was so excited about. 35 days. She had made all these declarations about who she was going to be in 2026, about what she was building toward, and she got 35 days of it. Her anniversary was the next morning, and her birthday was the morning after that. And I keep coming back to what Jerry posted on her birthday in 2025. It's me and you forever. I love you to the moon and back. Forever ended on February 4th at 5:40 p.m. with 4 shell casings on the floor and their children in the house. I'll say this quickly and I'll keep it short. I believe God sees every woman who is quietly falling apart inside a marriage she is performing strength in. And he sees the ones wrapping their pain in comedy because they don't know any other language. And I believe he grieves these endings the same way we do, because no woman should have to die to prove that the home she was trying to hold together was already on fire. And I choose to believe that. And I choose to believe that the love she poured into those 6 daughters lives on. And Perry is going to make sure of that.
I just don't miss my sister overall, man, and miss watching her be a mama, you know?
May Rolanda Snookie Watkins rest in peace. And to every woman watching this who is performing strength she doesn't have and wrapping her pain in humor because she doesn't know what else to do with it, please don't wait for someone to finally notice. Please reach out because your life matters and your children need their mama. And no relationship is worth what Rolanda paid. If this story moved you, share it and leave a comment and let us know what you felt, because these conversations have to keep happening until the outcome changes. Rest easy, Snookie. You deserved so much better than this. So that's it for today's video. Stay safe out there, and I hope these stories help you recognize warning signs and encourage you to seek help or offer support before it's too late. I'll see you in the next episode of Crime of Passion. Thank you for watching.
Wow. See what I mean by that one? Notice I didn't stop much to put an input on this one. This one of them deals, well, I don't know. Love don't love nobody. You know what I'm saying? We can say mental health. I can say a weak man. You know, it looked like that woman poured a lot into the relationship, poured a lot into him. Regardless of what was going on, did you have to change that woman's life while them kids was in the house? While the babies was there? You left your daughter to make that phone call because you was too weak to make it yourself to get some help? Absolutely bonkers. It's nuts. I mean, this one here is wild. This woman got up every day, 6 kids, 6 of them. I waited to the end to give my synopsis, I guess we would say, my opinion. I didn't want to stop because Snookie seemed to be a damn good woman, for the kids, for the community. and you know, I don't understand. We say mental health. I've been through a whole lot in my life. I've seen a lot of tragedy. You know, mental health shit. I can be crazy as all outdoors, but we all get to make decisions. The decisions we make is the decisions we got to live with. And when a man don't care about his kids, I don't give him no easy way out. So as he sit in that prison cell and rot, where he should be and rot, I hope the kids can be able to shake this thing, which is saying a lot, and come out and be positive members of society. Yeah. With this one, I give my wholehearted condolences to Snook. And until the next one, family, please like, share, and subscribe. What you give to the earth give back. Each one teach one. Peace.